to Power Producers Shop Talk, where we are refining and redefining the sales game by equipping you with the tools you need to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Tactical skills that will help you provide deliverable value to your clients and prospects.
Here, these are conversations that will differentiate you from your competition. Now, if you don't want to be different than your competition, probably should just go ahead and shut this off.
And action items that you can provide to take your prospects and clients to the next level.
Like when we audit the mod and do the mod master and give them the actionable items that they can do in order to lower their cost of risk.
This is Power Producers Shop Talk. Production redefined.
Reasonable and what wasn't, and I think that that's spot on. And these people that we're talking with don't necessarily understand what their exposures are and what they can even do about them when they're uncovered. So I do like that what we're able to provide is something tangible, action items that they can do.
Are you ready to feel the power?
Hey everybody, welcome to Power Producers Shop Talk, episode 24, where we are going to talk about establishing client expectations and carrier relationships with loss control.
Nice.
How many people hate loss control from the carrier?
I mean, is there anybody who doesn't?
I don't know, man. Part of me feels bad for them sometimes because I'm sure that everybody hates them. But
I think people probably go in with the wrong mindset on it. Like
they don't do anything to help themselves either.
Yeah,
though.
Right.
Like let's just go ahead and throw this out there. Let's break the ice with a little bit of why do people hate loss control and get that out of the way, and then we can have a reasonable conversation about how we can fix that. I'm going to give you an example. I'm Johnny Loss Control. Everything here is fine. I love it. I'm going to go back and write my report up, but you should be hearing from underwriting very soon. Mm-hmm. Now I'm Johnny Underwriter. Loss control report sucked. They said that they list 50 things.
Right.
Look, number one, if you're in loss control and listening to this, we love you. We want to be your friend, but you have to communicate and be honest with us.
Yeah. Don't say things are cool and then deliver a shitty loss report.
Help us help you, loss control, please. I want you in the account. I need you in the account, but you gotta shoot straight with me because you can't do that and then get pissed off when one of us doesn't give you the whole story, right? Mm-hmm. Not that we ever do that, but it's the equivalent of the same thing. Right. And you and I experienced that on one last year, right? Yep. We go out, we invest a bunch of time in an account, have the loss control guy out there. I don't know what his problem was. I don't know if he thought we were just going to dig a hole and bury his body in it if he didn't tell us everything was perfect or what the deal was. But imagine my dismay.
Yeah,
when
I'd rather know on the front end that there's some concerns versus being told everything's cool and I should have a loss report in 2 days and don't hear anything for a week and then have to chase down the underwriter and other people and figure out what the hell is going on and then find out that there actually are a bunch of concerns.
Hey, and here's another one, Mr. Loss Control, Mrs. Loss Control, Ms. Loss Control, whichever one you are. We don't know about loss control.
Yeah.
If I did, I'd be a loss control guy.
Right.
I don't want that job. That's not my skill set. So don't come into my account looking down the bridge of your nose at me as if it should be pristinely loss controlled prior to your existence in the mix. It's not going to happen. There's a reason you're there. Mm-hmm. And guess what? There's a reason we're there. We know the account's jacked. You should know that we know the account's jacked because that's typically who we're dealing with.
Right.
Don't come in and be disgusted if I haven't noticed 357 things wrong from the time I got out of my car to going in and meeting in the conference room. That's not my skill set.
Mm-hmm. It's always the chords on the floor.
Dude, that's it though. That being said, if you're a producer out there, you got to posture. You got to make it look like you know the loss control. At least some of it, right?
No enough to be dangerous, right? You don't need to be an expert on it because
I can tell you what my go-tos are right now. You have seen them in real time.
Yeah.
I should even make you name what they are, but I can tell you. Go ahead.
I know a couple for sure. I just mentioned one, the cords on the floor.
Yep.
Right. That's for sure one. Guards on the drills. And I actually, that was one that I ran into by myself. One of the first loss control visits that I went on by myself was for one of my clients that is a cabinetry shop. And we were up in their little, manufacturing area, and none of their drills.
All up in it.
Right. And then, and there were no guards on the drills at all. And it seems like that's a pretty common thing for any buddy in that space. But one of the things to, kind of branch off for a second, something that I didn't even think about, going back to your point about us not being experts on it, is the loss control guy mentioned, like ear protection. And I'm like, ear protection? Like what it's a cabinetry shop, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And then as I'm sitting there, all these guys are doing is sawing, drilling, and it's just like over. It's not necessarily that it's super loud, but it's close proximity and it's going on all day long. So it's like, that's actually a really good point. So, but yeah, right. And the other one that you talk about all the time is the stuff not being bolted into the floor. Yep. I don't know if there's any other ones that you have besides that are go-to. I mean, those are the three that I.
Yeah, the other go-to for me, and guys, you have to pay attention to this stuff, because as a producer, you cannot even begin to imagine the level of credibility you get with a prospect. If you walk in and see things and you bring them up, you appear to already know more than what you really know. But a couple of other ones.
Dude, how many producers are going in and doing that?
Yeah, never. I mean, look, hey, you mind if we take a spin around the production floor? I'd like to check a few things out before I take this to underwriting. What?
Yeah. No insurance agent. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say producer. No insurance agent, insurance salesman is doing that.
No, they're not. If they are, they're just going to go around and solicit everybody on the floor for life insurance, because that's what they do. It's freaking Ned Ryerson, right? But no, you go out there. Look, number one, fire extinguishers, right? Fire extinguishers. By the way, we also like to make sure there are no animals on the production floor.
Unbelievable, dude. I'm gonna beat Moose's ass, man.
It is what it is. Moose needed to make his presence known. You're not giving him enough attention.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah, send him out in the backyard and get rid of all.
That's where I had to put Nash. He was crying in the last episode. I had to go heat up a freaking bottle for him and shut the door. I was like, dude, just give me 20 minutes, man. That's all I need.
How much did you love it when he started being able to hold his own bottle, by the way?
He can't do it for the entire bottle, but he had been doing it for a couple months now, where he just grab it and hold it there, and he'll get bored and just like throw it. So you have to still hold it for him, because he's going to be a maniac, man. He just started eating like stage 1 jarred food, and he's already just like, it's all over his face. It's all. I
hope you got video of the ridiculous facial expressions and everything else. That's classic.
My mom took a video for the first one, and it was pretty funny. But yeah, so yeah, he's going to be a mess, man. He's going to throw stuff. He's going to throw temper tantrums. It's going to be crazy.
Well, sounds about right. Anyhow, but go-tos, fire extinguishers, right? You want to look to see fire extinguishers. Don't just look to make sure they're there. You got to posture.
Current.
Walk up, look at the tag, see when the last time was. If it's in tolerance, hey man, good job. You got a contract with somebody. Guess what? You need to include that in your submission anyhow. Checked for fire extinguishers, last updated such and such date. Blah 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 blah. Okay, good. Hey, where's the riser for your sprinkler system? Same thing. You want to know when the last time was they had a backflow test on their sprinkler system from a property perspective. Here's another one. Electrical box. Go in. How many times have I gone into an account and the freaking electrical box is hanging wide open, breakers are missing, there's
can't have a sloppy box.
Dude, clean your box up. Seriously. Get that thing high and tight. It's insane. But you go in there and it's like, hey, you're missing some breakers here. Somebody could get electrocuted. This box should never be open. Like, meanwhile, it's like rusty underneath a leak in the ceiling.
Sparks flying everywhere.
And then there's the obvious stuff like eyeglasses and hearing protection and all of that. But even if it's something that's not required in your situation, now that you know that, you're going to walk in and be like, man, it's kind of loud in here. And you're going to ask that prospect, hey, just out of curiosity, have you ever had somebody come in and do noise testing in here?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had an industrial hygienist come in? Have you ever had an ergonomics person come in to make sure that your workstations are at the right height and set the right way? Have you ever had somebody come in and talk about cross-training your people so that you have a rotation of duties? And I mean, look, we can go on and on and on, but what I'm giving you guys, this episode is sort of morphing into practical things you can do for loss control as a producer.
Right.
Just low-hanging fruit to look at and comment on, so it gives you a leg up.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the real deal, man. These are things that I'm using. Look, I cannot believe you didn't go to this one. Infrared thermal scanning of your equipment.
Oh, yes.
When's the last time you had somebody come in and do an infrared thermal scan of your equipment to make sure it's operating at the proper temperature?
December of never.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, that's another great one, though, that every one of us could do. They could say, I don't even know what that means. Okay,
yeah.
so what?
I still don't even remember what it means, and you've told me probably 2 or 3 times.
What's that?
I said I still don't even remember what it means, and you've talked about it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, they just look at it to see what the deal is with the temperature that it's operating at. The
machines,
scan
like
it, make sure it's not going to cause a fire or be a mechanical breakdown issue or whatever else.
Right.
But all that being said, if you want to most accurately represent the risk to the underwriters, one of the best things you can do is get loss control out there, because you need to set the table on the front end that this is not going to be an adversarial relationship, that you need them. You want them in there, and you want them to have an integral part of what you're going to do. And, again, it goes back to, on the larger accounts, to having a risk management action plan in place that you're going to update in real time. And that's going to be the framework that governs the relationship for the subsequent year. Bring loss control in and let them talk about, here are all the things. And you can say, these are the resources we have in-house.
Mm-hmm.
If loss control comes in and one of the recommendations is, you guys really need to have return to work, we have that on lockdown.
Yeah.
I don't need their help
happens.
to come in and do return to work.
Sure.
They could come in and say, hey, look, we need to do manual material handling training. Great. I'm going to go and create that as one of the training tracks inside Think HR, so that we can not only give them the training in a digital format, but we can monitor it and honestly give them a little recognition when they get through it by printing out certificates of completion and all of the other things that tool allows us to use. It's why we use it in our agency. It's a huge differentiator when you're going to take people to the next level. But again, I don't need loss control from the carrier to do that. But if they come in and say, hey, you really need to really beef up fleet safety, guess what? That carrier may have a really rock solid fleet safety program that they can deliver and implement. Or maybe they've got a disaster recovery specialist that they can give us based on the size of the account and the property exposure. You don't want to alienate them. You want to include them, and you want to use them where they're the strongest, supplementing with you where you're the strongest, and also the things that the client already has in place. But it's really, really important to get that off on the right foot, because I think there are so many times where they're not. Like, I think that most loss control people probably feel like rescue animals.
Yeah. Some of them look like rescue animals,
Yeah. Well, so do some of the auditors, for that matter. I mean, the specific one that, a couple of bottles of Dickel and a pack of Cowboy Killers, and this guy's having a normal Saturday night.
It's the best. I think it's important too, when the situation calls for it, for you to do your own, and it doesn't have to be super thorough, but before the loss control person from the carrier comes out, to kind of go through yourself with the insured and kind of just get a feel for what's going on, so that you can talk about stuff with, bring it up to the loss control person beforehand. Like, hey, look, we've kind of identified these few areas as maybe something that needs to be improved. Here are the things that we're able to supply them with based on, our resources. Are there other things that you're going to be able to provide for that too? Are there concerns that you have additionally regarding these things? I just think that's, you don't want to go in You don't want to go into that situation with the loss control person, just show up for the loss control visit and not really have any idea what you're getting into, because that can go downhill very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. And I also like to get their buy-in by asking what their solution for the problem would be on the front end, right? So if I'm doing a loss control visit with somebody and they say, those stairs don't look like they're in the best shape, how would you fix that? Well, what I would do is get some of that yellow grip tape that I would put on the edges of them, and then probably need to come over here and shore up the hand railing to make sure that it's not going to fall over if somebody leans into it too hard. Okay, great. You know what my goal is at that point? I want to have that done before the loss control report ever comes out. That's something that's quick. Tell Bubba in the maintenance department, run down and get some grip tape and some wood screws, man. We're getting ready to have a party on this staircase over here. That's it. It's done. Take pictures of it and get it to loss control before they're even back to their office to start on the report. Yeah. And you're going to instantly have credibility with them. The other thing is just, besides telling them that you're setting the table appropriately and you don't want this to be an adversarial relationship, let them know that you don't think you know everything. I mean, you don't need it. Again, it goes back to, you need them to be on your side. I tell them all the time, look, I'm really glad you're here. Here's some things that I noticed. Obviously, I don't do what you do. You're far better at it than I am. And I just wanted to let you know these are things I have recognized. I'm really looking forward to learning from you and seeing the things that I missed. Right. And then you make mental notes of that stuff, man. And then after a while, you'll have the list of 20 things that you can go in and look for every time, like I rattled off. Right. Yep. The other one that you forgot, and you alluded to it with the cords on the floor, but the big one for me, in addition to that, is if it's something in manufacturing where they're using air compressors and the hoses are on the floor, and all of that stuff should be on retractable wheels to the ceiling. That's so what I had in my head. That's not what came out. Yeah, but and you did hit on the drill press. So many times there's drill presses and they don't have a wider base that's been bolted into the floor. So you go over it. I mean, you could just give it the pimp hand one time and knock it over. Speaking of on my head, I don't know what the hell is going on, but it looks like I got the flock of seagulls up there, and this shit is not cool. I'm going to go back to hats. Oh, I thought you were talking about an actual flock of seagulls. You look like the guy from that Geico commercial that's eating the sandwich on the back of the boat. Dude, this is not good. I need a freaking haircut. Yeah, Good thing we don't do video. You could stand on your head right now, and I wouldn't know what was your hair and what was your beard. That's how right. Unruly it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just going. It's full COVID beard, full Fitzmagic. I feel like I don't even know you anymore. What have you become? With no end in sight. Yeah, what have you become? Dude, I don't know. It's you're like some sort of it dropped to like 55 degrees here this week, so I need the extra warmth, I guess. Dude, you look like you were like putting every ounce of effort possible into being on the cover of LL Bean. in a nice big flannel with some Timberlands. Yeah, a black and red flannel. No, they would never let you wear Timberlands. I guess they make shoes, huh? No, they would. Yeah, they would give you those waterproof duck boots that. Yeah, with the rubber over the toes. Yes, 100%. They're all over it, man. All right, well, we beat loss control to death. People, if you didn't get anything out of this episode, you ain't going to get anything out of any episodes, because seriously. I think we gave you a ton as producers you could go look at. And loss control people, guess what we did? We sort of built the bridge. We're trying to get together and get the production side and the loss control side on the same team. And listen, people, I know it started out a little rocky for you there at the beginning, but I think that we've done an adequate job of giving people all the reasons why they need to get along with you. So until next time, see ya.
You've been listening to Power Producers Shop Talk. You can follow us at the Power Producers Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to take your game to the next level, check out our commercial insurance training course at killingcommercial.com or visit Amazon to pick up a copy of our international best-selling book, The Extra 2 Minutes.